Hey, yo, playa, if you have a crush on someone that you want to get closer to, you're going to need to know how to text them in a way that's going to keep them engaged in those conversations. These are two techniques you could start using to make sure every conversation you have with the person that you like is going to be one that they're going to want to talk to you and is going to help lead you closer to potentially dating them. The first technique is called the texting mirror test. Now, the reason why a lot of people suck at texting is because they think just by messaging someone, they are automatically owed a response back, but that's simply not the case. Think about the message that you want to send that person. Make it as interesting as you believe it to be and write it out beforehand if you have to. Now imagine receiving that exact same message from someone that you have no interest in, someone that you don't like. Try your best to filter your response into one of three potential categories. If someone sent me this exact same message, would I feel a sense of obligation to respond just to be nice to them? Would I just want to flat out ignore them because there's nothing interesting about what they're actually saying? Or is what they have to say intriguing enough for me to answer, to share something back with them, to ask them a follow-up question? It is easy to think that everything you have to say is going to be intriguing enough for that person to care, but the reality is that's not going to be the case. You have to hold what you have to say up in front of that mirror so you can look at it from a more unbiased perspective and workshop it to make it something great. Another technique that you can try out, which is commonly used by improv comedians to help carry forward a scene so that nothing seems out of place, is the yes and principle. If you're jumping into an improv comedy scene, instead of creating a whole brand new scenario where everyone else has to now follow along, you could just add on to what other people are doing. So for example, if someone is pretending to drive a car on a bumpy road, you might pretend to be a passenger getting on the bus and say, "Yes, and this is my stop, I'm getting on the bus." Let's say you're texting back and forth with someone and you guys are talking about your weekend plans. That person mentions that they went to the movies. So you might logically ask them, "What movie did you see? Did you like it?" They give you a basic answer. You might think, "Okay, now I'm stuck. Where do I go from here?" Using the yes and principle when you feel like you're at the end of that conversation is going to lead you down one of three paths. Either A, you can ask a more detailed follow-up question. B, you can make an assumption about them, which opens the door for you to be sarcastic or flirty or to tease them. Or C, you can tie it back into a personal story, something that relates to your life based on what they were talking about. For that more detailed question, let's say you've exhausted the movie topic, you might want to think what's relative to movies. Ask about TV shows or video games or music concerts, other things that the person might like besides movies or movies that inspired them growing up. There are a whole list of questions you can ask just to go deeper into that conversation. Making an assumption about them is a great way to add just a little bit of tension to that conversation to keep them engaged. Here's an example of how that might play out. Let's say you're talking about movies, you might want to jump in and tease them and say something like, "You seem like the kind of person who's into really cheesy romance films." Now, this gives them the opportunity to either laugh it off and agree with you or to challenge that notion, to fight back with a little bit of fire that's going to help build the chemistry between the two of you. And then there's tying it back to your own personal experience. If you can learn to navigate that delicate balance of asking questions and telling stories, you're going to keep that person engaged. Find a way to insert your own hobbies and interests and opinions into the conversation that seems fluid with what you guys are already talking about. If that person talks about a movie that they like, you might want to share a movie that you like as well. Find common ground so that they can also be interested in you just like you're interested in them. Texting someone that you like shouldn't feel awkward or weird or like you're pulling teeth just to try to get a response from them. Texting can get better and you can improve it. You just have to try new things and see what works. And if you feel like you're starting from zero and you just have no clue what to say at all, download my free 20 Icebreaker Conversation Starters Guide. This is going to give you 20 different questions you can use and follow-up questions if you run out of things to talk about. Check it out and I'll catch you next time. As always, love and peace.